2026 is right around the corner, and I love this time of the year because I'm a goal setter, I'm a planner, and I love me some New Year's resolutions. But if you have ever made a New Year's resolutions that felt so exciting in January, but you gave it all up by February, I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. So I asked ChatGPT for the best way to plan for your New Year's resolutions because I don't know about you, but I'm not giving up this year, and I'm going to share with you what it told me. Hi, I'm Gabby, and I started this channel back when I was on maternity leave as a way to keep myself accountable as I pay off my debt. But as I started posting more and more videos, my content became more about mindset, spirituality, and the flow of energy. Well, if you're watching this, you're probably already thinking about the new year, and you're probably feeling a mix of hope and pressure. Because for the most of us, especially for the ones that watch videos like this is the time of the year that we start thinking, in the next year, I'm going to change everything. And we start planning new habits, new goals, and new versions of ourselves. But by February, all that motivation starts to fade. And by March, guilt starts to creep in. And then by spring, that New Year's resolution starts to fade away. And it's like it never even happened. But in 2026, I want to do things differently. And I want to actually make an impactful change so that I can get closer to my goals. So I asked ChatGPT for help. And this is what it said. Most resolutions don't fail because you're lazy or inconsistent. They fail because they're built on pressure instead of trust. And we also set goals from a place of guilt from the past, comparison to other people, burnout, or the belief that we should be more than this. But when goals are rooted in those shoulds, they don't have enough strength to stay. And another reason why resolutions fail, according to ChatGPT, is because people are too focused on outcomes and not enough on identity and energy. Some examples of that could be, I want to lose 20 pounds by December, I want to make more money, or I want to be more productive. All of those goals may sound clear, but they don't address how your life needs to change in order for you to support them. So the best way to start planning for your New Year's resolution is to start with reflection, not goals. So that means that the best way to start your New Year's resolution is to start it before January with reflection. And you can ask yourself, what drained me most this year? What gave me energy? What felt aligned? Even if it didn't look quote unquote successful, where did I push myself too hard? And when did I ignore my intuition? Reflections matter because the next year shouldn't be about doing more. It should be about doing more of what fits. So an exercise that you can do after you have done your reflections is to write down 3 things that you're ready to let go of and 3 things that you want more of in 2026. But remember, instead of focusing on achievements, you should be focusing on experiences and feelings. An example of that could be to rush less and have more spacious mornings, or less people pleasing and more honesty. So instead of setting rigid goals, you will be setting directions. Because a goal says I need to arrive here, but a direction says this is the way that I want to move. So, for example, instead of saying I want to start working out 5 days a week next year, you can try saying I'm moving towards a more connected relationship with my body. And really feel that feeling of being connected to your body as you're saying that. Or instead of saying I will make more money, you can try saying I'm building a life that feels financially calmer. So instead of focusing on results, we are focusing on real feelings that you can start feeling in the present moment. And when you focus on direction instead of goals, you give room for flexibility. I've talked about this in my previous videos. And if you want to manifest something, you should let go of the how or when it's going to happen and trust that whatever you desire is going to unfold as long as your mindset is aligned with that desire. If your mindset is aligned with that desire, you will always achieve it, but always in divine timing. So here's the key part of this. Once you have a direction, then you can start building habits underneath it. And since when you want to manifest something in your life, you have to embody it, ask yourself, what will make this direction easier to live into? So now you have to plan with your energy and not your ideal self. And by that, I mean that most people plan the resolution based on who they wish they were and not who they actually are. So instead of forcing yourself to become someone that you're not, you can plan around your rhythms and your responsibilities and your emotional capacity. So if you're a mom like me, or a dad, or a caregiver, or really just someone that is already carrying on a lot, your plan needs to respect that. So you can ask yourself, what is the smallest version of the habit that still counts? So instead of saying, I'll start meditating 30 minutes every day, start saying, I'll find small pockets of time to pause and breathe to come back to the present moment. Remember, consistency grows from ease, not force. And that's because your willpower is unreliable, especially under stress. And systems is actually what makes resolutions last. For example, if you want to read more, you can keep a book near your bed. That way, when you go to sleep, you can see the book and think, maybe I should read a little bit before I go to sleep. If you want to spend less money, you can make a rule that you need to pause for 10 minutes before you purchase something. So you're not focusing so much on adding more and more on your to-do list. You're only making the new habits that you want to create easier to form. So ask yourself, what small change can I do in my environment to make building this habit easier for me? Because your environment shapes your behavior far more than motivation ever could. Now, the last thing that you need to do is let go and let the new year unfold. According to ChatGPT, one of the most overlooked parts of planning the new year is giving yourself permission to change your mind. So don't feel like you're failing if your priorities shift. You're really just responding to growth. Instead of asking yourself if you're sticking to your resolution, try asking yourself if that resolution is still supporting who you're becoming, because that could very much change, and it probably will. So check in from time to time and adjust without shame. So I think that the biggest takeaway here is that you don't have to become someone else to have a meaningful year. You just need to listen more closely to who you already are. And as always, thank you so much for watching to the end. I hope that you liked this video. And if you did, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I'm here for you and I'm sending you all the positive energy for you to align yourself with that version of you that have always existed. And I hope that you have an amazing 2026. And I'll see you at the next one.